Good morning. Welcome to Sir Tacos Tuesday with me, Vince Montero. This is our first AMA session with the Trivium group that I joined earlier this month to help create additional content for all of you viewers, users of Amazon PPC, users of Amazon, Amazon sellers, anything that you guys want to learn or talk about. I'm going to be doing this monthly series, and it's going to be connected to Amazon ads. There might be some ancillary topics that I bring in that affect PPC every now and again. But my goal is to, come to you guys on a monthly basis and bring you some content that I've found that's interesting. Maybe there's some new changes in the ads console or other tools that are commonly used for Amazon PPC, and to share what I've learned or bring on experts as I'm going to do in today's session. And then afterwards, maybe 30, 45 minutes of content. We're just going to open it up to Q&A so that you guys can get your questions answered live here on YouTube. This is our first time doing this, and so that's why for this time we're just live on YouTube, but our goal in the future is to also be live on our other social media channels like LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you guys want to catch us there as well. This is being recorded as well, so hopefully we'll have this available to you guys in maybe a few days on our YouTube channel. And the content that we're going to share, some of which it's going to have some links on there. So don't worry about taking notes on, writing down links that are going to be shared with you guys. We'll post those links afterwards in the actual posts that we're going to be doing. So typically I like to give a couple of minutes for people to check in. And if anyone wants to say hello, there's the comment section. Hopefully you can see that on your screen somewhere that you can leave a comment. I see Brandy has left some fire for us for this morning. Thank you, Brandy. So if there's other people that are out there watching, let us know where you're checking in from. I like to see, where people are viewing us from across the globe. Amazon FBA is a global, industry, and so it's nice to see people from different parts of the world joining us. But in addition to that, I just want to make a note that we're going to be, if you guys are going to be at the Prosper Show, we are going to be there, Trivium Group. So myself and Mina and team are going to be there in approximately 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think it is, in Vegas. So if you guys are there, please make sure you come up and say hello. And always great to talk to people that are watching these series and trainings that I have done. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. So as you can see, I can see the comments. So this is a kind of an interactive, live stream that we're doing. And typically when I go through the content, I'll look at the questions if you guys have them, and maybe, we can answer questions as we're going through content, which is fine. We could do that for this particular session. There's a lot of content today, you guys. Sponsored brand videos or video ads in general are a hot topic. They are a super high converting, ad placement, at least as far as my experience goes. But it really depends on, how you use it, how you use sponsored brand video to leverage your brand's product, your story, your how-to videos, things like that. So I thought for today, for our first session with Trivium Group, I would bring on an expert in that particular area, Rob Wiltsey of VideoFresh, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him on and let him introduce himself.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Vince. My name is Rob Wiltsey. I am the founder of VideoFresh, and we specialize in creating sponsored brands videos and kind of all the video content that you're going to find in Amazon's ad ecosystem. So this is really excited to be on here and share some guidelines for what to do and what not to do when it comes to putting together that content for your campaign. So
yeah, we Rob and I met at Unboxed in New York, which is Amazon's ad conference. It's Amazon Ads Conference. That division is big enough to have its own conference. And what I learned while I was there, actually talking to people from Amazon, which I still have, connections with, they really told me how difficult it is to get a lot of sellers to understand the do's and don'ts of creating videos in general, whether it be videos or video ads. And what they're telling me is that most sellers get rejected.
Right.
Most of their first attempts, anyways, of creating a video, they get rejected, and it's a very, very high percentage rate. Upwards of 60%, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And I happened to meet Rob after I learned that little factoid. And Rob said something interesting to me. He said, "Oh, that's interesting. We've never had a video get rejected for our clients." So
hasn't happened yet,
right? Which is, considering, how many videos you have created for your clients to not ever see a rejection rate at all. That is actually a badge of honor. So we got to talking, and that's basically how we came up with this concept of, let's just do a training on the do's and don'ts, and maybe, with that learning curve, if you're not doing video, you might feel more comfortable doing video ads or video in general for your listing. Because really, I mean, Rob, you can speak to this. I think that it's kind of a must do at this point. Like, it used to be kind of a nice to have, but what do you think about it? The importance of having video in your listing or using it for ads?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree that we've seen it go from a kind of a nice to have to a need to have. I mean, in your category, like your competitors that are leveraging video, I mean, the stats are pretty crazy on how that impacts traffic to your product detail pages, how that impacts conversions. Like, Amazon has their own stats on this, and they, just going off the top of my head here, and I can share links to where they post this, that like advertisers that have video use sponsored brand videos, not just sponsored. They use sponsored display videos, I should say, as opposed to just sponsored, display, right?
Mm-hmm.
That video component, it increases traffic by like 108% to your page, and it increases conversions by like 32%. So I can share links on that too. So that's Amazon's own testimony to that. And then even just having like a video on your product detail page, that increases sales by, according to Amazon, at 9.7%. So you're just slapping like conversion multipliers on your products that you work so hard to get up and running. And, to just not have video content is quite literally just leaving money on the table. So that's why we're so passionate about like getting your content, and having the right content too. Cause there are a lot of best practices and guidelines, as we're going to talk about, to follow, to make sure you can maximize that success. So.
And how long have you been doing the video ads for Amazon specifically?
I think we first started doing them in around 2018. And back in the day, like the video side of Amazon's ad ecosystem is kind of newish. Mm-hmm. It's newer than a lot of the rest of the content, or the other types of ad products they have. So we went from it being like it was like only an exclusive type of seller could even post it back in the day.
They were announced,
yeah. So then it slowly become just like people are starving to get the content now. And so we've really taken it upon ourselves to just continue educating, come up with those best practices, test out what works, what doesn't work, and kind of illuminate this whole world for sellers, because the sooner you adopt it, the sooner you're going to, have outsized results, because a lot of your competition is still catching up on it. So
it's 100%. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and just jump into the content. I do see there is a question there, but I want to make sure we get through the content, and then we'll, if you guys have questions on the specific things that you see, go ahead and pop them there. If it's not 100% connected to it, then I'll just wait, until the end. So with that being said, Rob, take it away. He put together all this information for you guys, so definitely let's pay attention. There's some nuggets in here.
Yeah, there's a lot here. I like to kind of come with maybe too much to the table, just so we'll see how much we have time for here. But we're gonna just start off with kind of some pretty black and white stuff here, which is just what are Amazon's guidelines. So as Vince said, there's a lot of people are getting their ads rejected. That's very frustrating. We don't want that to happen to you, so we're going to kind of fly through some of these basic guidelines. what not to do. What is Amazon going to get your ad rejected for? And like Vince said, we are talking about video ads here. A lot of this stuff also applies to just general like photo image ads or sponsored brand content too. But the first thing I'm going to say is there are a lot of guidelines, and so we can't talk about them all right now. So I'm going to touch on a few of them that really just to kind of give you an appreciation for what types of guidelines these are and what kind of things to look out for. But at the end of the day, there's 3 links that are really going to help you. And we're going to share these after the presentation. One is Amazon's ad guidelines and acceptance policies. That's here at advertising.amazon.com. It's a long, they spell it all out. It's really simple. The next one is it's a very similar link, but it's different. It's the sponsored ads guidelines and acceptance policies. There is a lot of overlap on these links, but there's also some different information. So you kind of have to read both of these. That's that link. We're going to share all this afterwards. And then finally, hopefully people know about this, but this is have gone through this. But the Learning Console for Amazon advertising, this is an awesome resource for you to get super educated in all aspects of Amazon ads, best practices, guidelines, everything. So definitely go through all of these and you will be super familiar with what these guidelines are. But let's just touch on a few of them here. So formatting issues, this is probably the easiest thing to avoid if you know these. No letterboxing or pillar boxing. That's like no black rectangles on the tops and bottoms or sides of your video.
So no, like you see on your TV,
for the
like
you're watching a movie and it's got the black bar. Yeah, so letterbox. So if you have, so that video needs to be 16:9 if it's a sponsored brands video, and there's all the specific format things. But make sure that the size, the size of your video fits the ad product that you are using. Make sure there's no black frames at the beginning or end of your video. That could be as easy as accidentally exporting your video with like one extra frame at the end, and then you've got this black frame at the end. Amazon rejects your ad, and you're like going, "Why?" There could be a black frame at the end of your video. Amazon does not like that. The video, so you don't want to crop your video in the middle of the video. So, I guess cropped isn't even the right word here, but you don't want to trim your video in the middle of the video. So some people make a 30-second ad and then they need it to be 15 seconds for some other, purpose. So they just chop the video at 15 seconds and upload it. That's Amazon does not like that either. So you're going to have to like handcraft a new 15-second version in that case. Don't add Amazon branding elements to your video. They don't. They want that to not be in your video. Don't add customer ratings. A lot of people don't know this. Amazon does not want you to add ratings of any kind in your video content, even if it's like your Amazon rating and you can prove it's right there. They don't want that. Any reviews or ratings in your video.
Mm-hmm.
That one gets flagged a lot because that's not necessarily like obvious. Like I said, wrong video resolution, wrong video duration, all that good stuff. And Vince, if you want to stop, I'm just going to keep going.
Just keep going. I know there's a lot here.
If you want me to, I will. This might become rambling, but I'm just going to rattle it off here. So, video quality, Amazon doesn't like blurry videos, unclear, unrecognizable visuals. So no like ambiguous stuff. Creative elements that interfere with the legibility of the template. So, so this is interesting. So like, Amazon has a little mute button in the corner of your sponsored brand video. They don't want you to have like a mute button that looks like their mute button. I don't know why you'd put a mute button in a video, but
interesting. Yeah.
They don't like, that one makes sense to me. They don't want anything crazy like flashing, spinning, blinking, pulsating, crazy visuals or super high contrast stuff.
So not like no movie trailers.
No movie trailers. Yeah, exactly. This is not Transformers. And this is actually something we're going to get into on what to do and kind of some of the differences between. There's a lot of differences between like an Amazon ad best practices and like social media PPC, like super different strategy. And we're going to talk about why, because that kind of stuff might be effective, on platforms, but not Amazon. just audio and video quality in general, like for audio, like no crackling or static. So this is all sound actually. Okay. So yeah, no distracting, shrill, crazy, jarring sounds. Most people aren't going to watch your ads with audio on anyway, except maybe streaming TV is the exception to that. But if you're talking sponsored brands videos, sponsored display, this is none of that's going to have audio on anyway. So you actually, there's no reason. I don't know.
So you could opt to just not have audio, and you'll be fine.
You actually don't technically need audio, although I would definitely recommend having audio. But yeah, I think that 90% of people, are going to watch those sponsored brands videos
without sound.
Yeah, and you don't want. So that's not really a quality thing, but yeah. So you don't want any. You don't want people talking too fast. You don't want things to be inaudible, unclear. So if anything just feels like unclear or not at a high quality level, that's another reason Amazon can flag your video. No promotions or deals. You're not supposed to put any special, information about a deal you have, or 50% off, or like savings promotions, or promo codes. Like nothing like that in these video ads. Pressuring language, so you don't want to be like, buy it now, or like hurry while supplies last.
Today only.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't want to be pushy or pressuring or like urgent with your language. You can say, and we'll talk about this too. There are some calls to action that are okay, but not in a pushy way.
This one I have a story. So
this one
I told this story at Unboxed. So I literally have a video ad that I submitted probably like 10 times, and every time you submit a video ad, it adds a number to it, the number 1. So you can just count the numbers, right? You wouldn't know this because you've never had a rejection. So they'll just add the number 1 to the video. So I have a video ad that has at least 10 number 1s to it. So I know this was the 11th version.
Wow.
Or maybe it was the 10th version. And it was simply because of this rule right here. There was copy in the video ad unit, and the copy, whatever it was saying in the video, it went over the mute button. So if you guys look at this image, pretend there's a video in that image, in that lower right-hand corner is where the mute button is that Rob mentioned earlier. And that is for a shopper to either listen to your video ad or not listen to it. Amazon gives them that option to turn off or on the sound. So you can't have any copy then that goes into that area, because then it covers up that mute button. And Amazon's very bad at letting you know why your video ad's being rejected. It just tells you, go to those links, right? They just say the links you showed at the beginning. It just says, go there and look at everything, figure out what you did wrong, and then resubmit. So on the 11th time I figured out it was because there was language in that over the mute button.
Yeah, that is incredibly frustrating. Yeah, and it would be nice if Amazon just told you exactly
what. Yeah, and then they don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It really depends on who you get.
Yep. Yeah. So the it's worth it to just read all those links so that you save yourself time in the future if you get that rejection.
Or just pay attention to what we're sharing today.
Or pay attention to this. Yeah. I mean, yeah, these are like I'm trying to kind of start with the classic culprits on stuff, because these are kind of the most common ones, the most common reasons. So yeah, that's right. So exactly, like, don't put anything here, no text, no details, no icons or anything in that area. So, okay, so this one's interesting. People may know this or may not know this, but Amazon is pretty picky when you make claims about your product, right? And I think this stuff is maybe more sellers kind of know this stuff, hopefully. But yeah, in your ad, if you say 33% of people, like this, you have to substantiate any claims that you make about your product that are sort of like quantifiable claims, like things with numbers, stats, objective things. And so you want to, so like if you have an award, you want to support that with like the date of the award, and who gave you the award. Now you can do this. You can do this on the product detail page. You can do this in the ad itself, or if it's on the product packaging, which I always thought was interesting. But if it's on your product packaging, apparently that's okay too. So you have to substantiate things. And so if you're
you can't just claim whatever you want about your product.
Claim whatever you want. And if you get flagged and you don't know why, it's like, if you get rejected and you don't know why, maybe you're making a claim that Amazon doesn't feel is properly substantiated. So that's kind of the takeaway here. Oh, and also, I mean, just to get in a little deeper here, the whatever source you're using, it has to be dated within the last 18 months. So, yeah, there's also kind of a shelf life to the claims about the product. So like, I think they don't want you, if I understand this one right, they don't want you like saying something about your product from like 2017, like like an award.
Something outdated. Yeah.
Yeah. They want it to kind of be like up to date because maybe your product is different now or changed, you know? So yeah, Amazon does not require additional substantiation. So here's some claims you can make. Brandy says, for stats, is that for video and images? Yes, I think this claim is for all types of ad media.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So so Amazon does not require you. So you can make claims that are clearly on your packaging. I guess in my mind, I don't know why putting it on your packaging proves anything, but there you go. So the product descriptions, claims that describe the products in an objective or non-comparative way. So just stating claims that are kind of just facts. And so like Bluetooth compatible, that's just kind of a fact about your product. So that's fine. You can say subjective claims. So this is kind of where you can, if there's something you want to say about your product from a marketing standpoint, you really want to see if you can spin it into a subjective. So instead of even making an objective claim about 99% of people, just say you'll love this product because it's so great. Like you can make these subjective statements, and Amazon's totally fine with it. So you can say our most effective moisturizer is
they're a little more vague.
They're a little more vague. Yeah. So you can kind of still accomplish the marketing messaging you want by kind of spinning it into something more subjective. Right. And then you don't have to worry as much about the substantiation side of that. Okay. So this one's interesting. So if you have a video that's like, whether it's a graphical video or even if it's a live action thing, or I think this definitely applies to image ads as well. They don't want super loud, saturated background colors that are just, they don't want anything that's just kind of an eyesore, I'm guessing. Like,
if my background right now was a bright purple, you guys would all be like, what?
yeah. And it's too, maybe it's also kind of like an unfair way to grab eyeballs too, as they're scrolling. It's a little too gimmicky. So yeah, avoid any of these kinds of crazy like highlighter colors, I guess.
Right.
And so a call to action can be helpful for conversions, but it's not necessary to have a call to action. So some call to actions you shouldn't do, we kind of talked about this, was like, don't be like last chance to buy, or like don't miss out, or like while supplies last, and don't be like click right here. Some calls to action that would be okay would be like, try this product and experience better skincare, right? Like you can still implore the customer to try it or to, do something, just not in a pushy way. And you just can't say click here either. So they don't want you to be quite that direct.
Not salesy. Yeah.
Yeah. Not salesy. Okay. So yeah, prohibited content. These might be less surprising, but offensive content, stuff's got to be family friendly. You can't have profanity, violence, or sexually suggestive content. So this one's an interesting one. So like we have, a client that sells shower heads, right? And so it's like, we want to show someone in the shower. It's like, is Amazon going to think that a person in the shower is that, we're seeing some skin or whatever, like, is that sexually suggestive? Right. So there's always like, even when the guidelines, there's always going to be some subjectivity for what Amazon's going to decide to do. So we're going to talk about a pro tip for how you can get a good idea of what Amazon's going to do.
Mhm.
Intellectual property infringement. So advertising must comply with intellectual property rights, including trademarks, copyrights, or patents. So obviously you can't use anything trademarked. Misleading content. So, tell the truth, like about your product, and everything. So, if it's clear that you're saying something about your product that's not true, that's obviously
Don't say it's for kids if it's not for kids.
Yeah, don't say it's for kids, or don't say, or if you're inaccurate about a feature or benefit or the size of it. I mean, all of that's gonna if it comes to light that something's not accurate, that's gonna Amazon's gonna reject it for that reason too. Don't advertise or promote illegal things. So that's should go without saying. But I think this is also a big difference in some ways between like Amazon and like social media PPC. Like you can't even depict anything. Like you can't even make a joke about I don't know, like anything that's illegal. Like you can't even depict anything that's illegal. Whereas you could probably get away with more stuff on other platforms. But Amazon's a very, very whitewashed, very wholesome, family friendly
platform. So no pictures of somebody smoking a joint or anything.
Exactly.
Even though it's legal in most places, doesn't matter.
Exactly. And this reminds me of another interesting one. So a good example is also anything that's unsafe. I realize that's not on here. So like, for example, Amazon was rejecting ads for a video because there was a child who was like near a pool in the video. And it was like, that was like unsafe to show a child near a pool. And it was like a young kid. I think like maybe like maybe like 3 or 4 year old, maybe. Yeah. And it was like, cause it was for some pool thing, but like the child wasn't wearing a floaty or anything. It was just, the child was just kind of around the pool. So like depicting unsafe scenarios is also an interesting one that we've had to navigate that one before, but just preemptively had to kind of think through those.
Right.
I think Amazon talks about that in their learning console about that scenario too. So
interesting. I did not know that one.
It was interesting. Yeah. So anything that could be, someone in a bathtub with a toaster next to it, fall in. Like nothing that's like a dangerous.
Making your margarita next to the bathtub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things like that that could be dangerous. So third-party endorsements and reviews. Advertising cannot feature third-party endorsements unless they are from a reputable source and are clearly disclosed. Okay, so a lot of prohibited stuff. There's more than this, but these are kind of the biggies.
Yeah.
And then, so pro tip. So this is cool. So when in doubt, so what do you do for I can't tell if my thing is violating a rule. Right. Search for products in your category and find sponsored brand videos in your category and see how they have successfully navigated the guidelines. So that's how we kind of were able to navigate with like the shower thing. Is like we looked up a bunch of what is Amazon currently running with other shower heads, and it's like, oh look, there's a person and they're not wearing a shirt and they're in the shower. Cool. Like, so
it should be okay. Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of a nice little fail safe. When
people should be doing this anyways, just because they should be looking at their competitors' content and watching it and saying, oh, what can I do anything better? Can I do this better? Can I show this better? Like, right. So definitely you guys be checking out your competitors' videos is always a good idea.
Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, knowing kind of what your competitors are running is good, if anything, so you can kind of do one better or kind of just get a sense of where the competition's at. I think that's super smart. So let's talk about what to do. So right. I'm doing 90 minutes at Prosper Show on this, so I'm gonna just try to crunch, just kind of throw some value here for kind of our best practices. So the first thing is to think about every video as a funnel. So we think about our entire marketing, our entire marketing customer journey as a big old funnel. When you think about each even a 15-second video, if you think about that as a funnel, you're going to be able to think a lot more clearly about the anatomy of that video and how to get someone from, past that first nanosecond where their subconscious is going, do I want to watch or do I want to scroll? Right. So
Right.
it's kind of like in the first 1 second, you're trying to win the subconscious brain. you're trying to win the part of the brain
quick.
doesn't even know what they're seeing. Right. So you win the subconscious brain. In the first 3 seconds, the conscious mind is now coming online going, do I want to keep choosing to watch this, or what is this? Right. So you want to be very clear. They will scroll if they don't understand what the video is, right? So clarity is really important. And then, the body of it is like, has to meet the objective and has to meet the customer where they're at in the journey. We're going to talk about the differences between each of the Amazon ad products and where that customer is in their journey, and therefore what does the body of this video need to do to be successful. And then you want to end again on the product, just reinforce, nice product hero shot. So we're going to talk about this, but it's like you want to think of it as a funnel. So again, the first job of any piece of content is catch their attention, right? You got to catch it, you got to grab that subconscious. The second step is make them choose to watch it, because that's the next thing that has to happen. So you could catch their attention and then they go, oh, never mind, I don't want to watch that. So you want to really, and the way you do that is, we're going to talk about how to do that, but it's just by being as relevant as possible to their intent. Yeah. Number 3 is kind of the meat of the video. You're conveying the information and the things that they're hoping to learn in that video. And then finally, getting that, earning that KPI, that actual that action, that conversion, that, that click through, whatever it is. And so giving the customer an opportunity to do that. So let's talk about this in the case of a sponsored brand video. What is a sponsored brand video? Is notably very different from even a sponsored display video. And there's a major difference, and the major difference is intent. So a customer is when a customer is typing in, their keyword, then they're scrolling through the results, they are actively looking for something. The thing they're looking for is the thing they searched for. They're looking for that thing. And so, so how do you stop the scroll for that person? You stop the scroll by clearly depicting your product in that first few frames, right? There's the product. You can understand what it is. You can, and another good way to think about this is, if you're running keywords that have like long tail intent in the keyword. I'm trying to think of an example, but like, if it's like, black leather duffel bag, right? Let me go this one. Foldable duffel bag. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Foldable black leather duffel bag.
Foldable black leather duffel bag. They're looking for like not just any duffel bag. They're looking for one that they know is foldable and that is black and leather.
Material, the color.
That's right. So that opening shot ideally would be like, look, it folds, burp, burp, burp. And it's like that opening action, that opening clip is going to be the difference between them stopping and not stopping. And what I see a lot of people doing with their ads is just kind of being eye-catching in general. That is best practices, certainly for some of the other things we're going to talk about, like a sponsored display, or even like social media ads or streaming TV, things like that. For sponsored display, it's a very special kind of video, because they know exactly what they're looking for. So you really want to be clear and communicate then the features and benefits that customer is looking for. So we're going to kind of look at the anatomy of this. I'll skip ahead here. So here's like a basic anatomy. You can go off-road from this. This is not like set in stone, but open with that product shot, and that product shot should reflect the long tail intent, if there is any, in the keyword, and just what you know about your customers. What are they looking for? Hopefully you know some of that, for what makes your product really stand out, and then reflect that in that opening shot. Hit it with 3 features and benefits. Feature benefit 1, feature benefit 2, feature benefit 3.
F&B, feature and benefit.
Yes, F&B, feature benefit. So every feature should have a benefit, because every feature does have a benefit. So,
yeah.
This Celsius drink has a tab at the top. The feature is it has a tab. The benefit is I can open it easily. So you always want to be like, yeah. So it's like the feature, and then what's that benefit? So always, that's another best practice. Make sure you always communicate that pairing, not just the feature, because some people might not understand what that means for them. So you hit them with those 3 features and benefits, and we'll talk about how to decide which 3, because your product probably has a lot more than 3.
It should have at least 3.
It should have at least 3, and we'll talk more about how to find those 3. End on the product shot, and you'll notice this whole video is 15 seconds long. So we have found that shorter videos for sponsored brands videos are good because they're sitting there in the search results, right? You've got their attention now. They're watching your video, but they're sitting in a list of search results. There's competitors all around them, right? They're all around your listing. You want them to click, and you don't want to be too long-winded in your video, because what's going to happen is if your video is 45 seconds and it just keeps going and going and going and going, they're more likely to scroll away. Whereas if you hit them with 3 features and benefits and then pretty quickly end on that product shot, you're saying click, like now it is your turn to take an action. So you just holding on that product shot at the end, reinforcing what the product is, what the name of it is, what the brand is, and just giving them a breather to click. This is going to give you a good kind of default structure that if you're not sure where to start, this works really well.
And does that also put you in the minimum is 15 seconds, right? So that puts you.
It puts you at the minimum. Yeah. Sponsored display can be less.
Oh, okay.
Sponsored brand, I do believe the minimum is like 15 seconds. The max, I feel like it's 15 to 45. Someone can fact check me on that. I think it's 15 to 45. And I think sponsored display is like 6 seconds to like 45 or something. Or to 90 maybe. So they're already supposed to be short. I would say, I'm saying here 15 to 20. These are not hard rules. There's exceptions to these rules, but in general, 15 to 20 seconds. First shot, full screen product. Top 3 features and benefits. Last shot is the product. Hold for 3 to 4 seconds. When you use text on screen, keep it to 6 words at a time. Don't make people read like a paragraph on the screen. Any card of text in your video, try to keep. You can almost always figure out 6 words that can do the feature benefit pairing. And I've got some examples I can show you for this, but and every feature and benefit, this should go without saying, but I see this not followed all the time. So like, make your features and benefit shot. Make every shot like exactly what the feature and benefit is in the shot. So the amount of times you see, it'll be like, it'll say like the bag is foldable, but the person isn't folding the bag; they're walking down the street with it, and it's like, no, you got to show exactly, because you reinforce that messaging.
Yeah, that should be a common understanding. But yeah, I guess
it should be, and a lot of this stuff is like really obvious kind of once it's pointed out, but and so so this is interesting. So don't use voiceover in these videos, because I would say have some music so that if they unmute it, there's some nice music.
Something.
Yeah. Oh, if your product makes sounds, this is actually an interesting one. So back to the Celsius one, if I'm cracking it open, just like that ASMR cracking it open, that's a nice kind of visceral like element to the video that is can grab more attention. So have good sound design in the video if you can. Just not voiceover, like lean on that text in the sponsored brands video to do
versus voices.
And then here's kind of an example of a sponsored brands video. So I have this one video that I have multiple versions of to kind of show you the difference. So this is for Sports Research. I think they're like a top 50 seller.
I think they are.
Yeah. So we did some of these for them. So here's a sponsored brand video, like 15-second quickie. Oops. Let's see if it'll play for me. There we go. that's it. It's short. That was 15 seconds.
That was
That's
15 seconds, right?
that's
And there
fast.
three
Yeah.
benefits and features, right?
It's fast. Yeah, was that
Yeah.
15 or even? Yeah, that was a flat 15 seconds. So it's quick. So that is the amount of time to catch their attention, say the right words on the screen that make them go, yes, that is in fact what I'm looking for. Give them that product shot at the end. So then they've now clicked through to the product detail page, and product detail page videos, because they're kind of not part of the Amazon ads. It's not an Amazon ads product, right?
Yeah.
It's video content on the page, but I view they come right after the other. Like the sponsored brands video leads directly to, I mean, all the ads lead directly to, the product page,
either the listing or the store, but yeah.
Or the store. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if they're clicking through to the product page, a lot of the time these pieces of content are going to be connected. Like a lot of the time they're going to view that ad and then view that product detail page. So, the intent is now different. So we've now demonstrated to them through that sponsored brands video that this is the product that they're hoping for. So now they're now on the page and they're asking themselves, like, is this the product I hope it is? I want to learn more about the product. I want to learn everything about the product, and so then I know I can buy it. So the product detail page video should just inform all of the stuff about the product, and give them a sense that this has all the features and benefits I'm looking for. So one mistake I see a lot on the product detail page videos is I see people spending 30 seconds at the beginning of the video talking about the problem, talking about the lifestyle, or talking about like things that aren't really, whereas they already know they want the product. They know they have the problem. They
clicked on the listing. They clicked on
the listing. They're like, I want to buy it. What is, like, tell me all about the product. So we want to start informing them right away. And so it shouldn't waste any time it doesn't need to be entertaining. It really, I mean, that could be a cherry on top, but it really needs to just be informative. And so 30 to 90 seconds in length is usually enough to communicate everything about any given product. The first shot should be a feature benefit. We should just get to feature benefit. Because again, we don't want to even waste 3 seconds of their time being, doing anything else, in my opinion. 100% of, you should ideally fit 100% of the features and benefits of your product in this video.
If you have more than 3, you should include.
If you have more than 3, yeah. And I would say most products have at least 5 or 6, right? So, but yeah, if there's more than 3, yeah. And so the video should clearly convey all the communication without the need for a voiceover, although voiceover may be added. So I would say they probably will be watching this one with sound. And so a voiceover is a great addition if you can. And same kind of with the featured benefits, cards, text on screen, I should say. So like, 6 words, if you can keep it to that.
What about the sellers? Like, let's say they have like a brand story. Do you think that should be incorporated there, or should that be saved for like maybe the store? And
that's a great question. I would say that primary listing video should be informative, to the point, efficient, clear, all of that stuff about the features and benefits. But
maybe a secondary video.
I was going to say there's like, it's good to stack videos in that.
That's
because
true.
then you get, and I think kind of some of the benefits of that. So we'll talk about. So I would say like a founder story or a company story, or whatever.
Or, the X% of the proceeds go to blah blah blah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, more brand content, more secondary content about the product or the brand is awesome for the product detail page and for the storefront. Absolutely, yeah.
But you would do it in its own video.
I would do it in its own video. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's that multiple. I might have included it in here, kind of the multiple video strategy stuff. But essentially, yeah, if you have at least 5 videos of your own for that product, it will fill up. There's about halfway down the page or 2/3 of the way down the page, you get like more videos about this product. And if you have 5, you get 5 of your videos. If you have like 2 or 3, then it's going to show competitors'
videos.
Yeah. So, if you can elbow those out of your page, that's great with more videos. So here's an example of the same video, same product. For the product, for the PDP video, and this is 30 seconds, so this is on the short side. There's not a ton to say about the collagen product, so we're around 30 seconds. So kind of like a good way to think about it is like the sponsored brands video, you could almost think of it as like a teaser to the product detail page video. That's kind of how I like to think about it. You can actually shoot the product detail page video and use the exact footage to make the sponsored brands video. That's a really efficient way to do it.
That's what you did. That's what you did there, right?
That's what we did here. Yeah. And in fact, you'll see we even did a streaming TV video version for this one. That's super different. So this is interesting. So that's everything for that's the basics for like product detail page and sponsored brands video. What those have in common is they're very search. There's a lot of intent. They're very contingent on the search of the customer for a product. They're essentially encountering this content on purpose, as opposed to these two types of videos, streaming sponsored display videos and streaming TV videos. These are catching people off guard, right? This is content as they're browsing around Amazon, that this content is just going to be served to them when they least expect it, right? Essentially. So the idea for this is now you kind of do need to grab their attention in a different way. And it's good to be eye-catching and entertaining with these, or at least, open with something that's going to catch them off guard no matter what they're searching for. And so we'll get into this. So the length of these is a little less important, in my opinion, as long as they're just falling within the placement requirements. Because I would say that for if I had to put a range on it, I would say for sponsored display, 15 to 60 seconds, anything in there is fine. Streaming TV, I think 15 or 30 is kind of the convention, because that's just your standard TV commercial essentially.
Right.
And so with these videos, because they're not looking for your product per se, you do want to open up with the problem. Or the context, right? So this is what most people think of a typical commercial, where it's does this ever happen to you? I mean, we're not going to go there, but here's kind of this, here's kind of a problem. Here's something you can relate to, probably, maybe in your life, and then here's where this product comes into play to address that. So it's a little more of that structure. Which kind of hits into the why of the product. So the why your product exists should be kind of what you establish at the beginning. Streaming TV, especially, the expectation is a higher production value. You can kind of get away with lower production value stuff for sponsored brands videos. Streaming TV in particular, high quality. Amazon, even in their guideline, says this needs to be there needs to be some production value, or at least professionally done. So sponsored brand videos, I'm sure we've all seen some of the content on sponsored brands videos. Not a super high bar for what they'll allow quality wise, but still want to do that in a professional way too, ideally. But streaming. So let's see. Yeah. So streaming TV, the main difference between streaming TV and sponsored display videos is actually audio. Audio
will watch it with audio.
Yeah. Streaming TV is going to have audio on the most of any of these options. So you definitely want it to lean on the audio, and then sponsored display. Probably not, but you know, so we can kind of talk about the difference there. But here's kind of that anatomy. So you want to present the problem. That could be 3 to 10 seconds. We don't really need to get into the product so quickly in the same way as we do on the other ones. So introduce the product. You hit them with those 3 features, benefits. I would say, you know, 3's still good for this, and then you kind of resolve the problem as well in this, and on that product hero shot. So they can click.
What's a hero shot?
Oh, right. So that's like when you kind of see the product and it's kind of like designed nicely on a table or something like that. And you've got, you know, the lighting's really nice. The product's kind of like on display, right? And it just looks like epic and amazing. Yeah.
Like
in whatever context. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great question. So here's this video for this example, kind of the problem solution commercials.
I see.
When do you feel most renewed? With so many daily distractions calling for your attention, most of the time, less is more. That's why our single ingredient collagen peptides are made without fillers or additives. So you get the most collagen per scoop and can focus on what really matters. Because living a healthy, vibrant life is much easier when you know you're supported. Sports Research Collagen Peptides, your new morning ritual.
So that would be more of the streaming TV example because we don't have any text. I would say that the sponsor display, I would do it exactly like this, just with that text reinforcing the voiceover.
What the voiceover is saying.
You can kind of see the structure of that. So I think it's great that we kind of have this one example to kind of compare.
A lot of focus on a lot of focus on the eyes.
The eyes, yes. It is. So, and that's kind of by design. So eyes is one of those, we're actually going to get into something. And by the way, how much longer should I go on this stuff?
Well, we got 8 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to go through 8 minutes because I want to get to the question about eyes. Okay. So we do talk about storefront videos. I want to talk about this real quick. AI attention heat maps is really cool and no one's using it and you should use it.
Definitely want you to talk about that.
because eyes are so there are tools that you can use that will tell you, artificial intelligence will tell you where's the human attention going to go and what gets more human attention than what, which is, as you can imagine, like super powerful when you're trying to make creative decisions with your content. So here, like, as you can see, the red is the most attention. So it's on the eyes. The human brain is like locked in. Like we find eyes. I think there's something called pareidolia. Maybe someone knows how to pronounce this. If that's not right, but there's pareidolia is the phenomenon where you or pareidolia, where you see you feel like you see a face, but there's like it's not a face. It's just you know, or like or like when you look at the clouds and you see like someone's face, you think you see eyes. And so we're the human brain has evolved to be very sensitive to like facial features,
identifying faces.
Yeah. So we see faces even when there aren't faces sometimes. But eyes are one of the most eye-catching things to open up on. And you can kind of play around with this with these features, and I'll give you some links for where you can do this. So here's three. This is from another video we did for Caviar and Cashmere. Here's 3 options, and we can use AI to see. By the way, who does someone want to guess like which one of these is going to have the most attention? Like the most attention?
Like, so if you're just looking at this, I mean, I know which one I would pick, but how does an AI know which one? Like, they have cameras looking at the viewers' eyeballs and seeing like where their eyes are.
It's such a good question. That's such a great question. Because I don't know how AI does what it does. I'm not a computer scientist. Like, I wish I knew. yeah, how they would test it. I mean, they might just have massive, like giant data sets
Mm-hmm.
and they can kind of like infer. Yeah, I mean, I would assume there has to be some way of tracking,
Mm-hmm.
measuring where the human attention goes, and then comparing that with like a huge set of images, and then like inferring where the attention goes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So here's like where all of the attention goes. So you can see they're all pretty strong, but
Mm-hmm.
only one of them's got like a lot of red, and this is actually very interesting. There is one thing stronger than the eye. The eyes are strong, but there's one thing stronger than the eyes, and that is actually the text on the bottle. Yeah, so text, that's why the on-screen text is so essential for all of these videos, is because it really does. Text is there's a lot of meaning in text, and so our eyes just lock to that.
Yeah.
So here we're combining eyes and text, so that is a lethal combination for a shot. And so you've got so this is actually a company called Zyro. I have no affiliation with them, but they made this. I did this for free on Zyro.com, so it was kind of cool.
As in, you used Zyro.com to come up with the heat map images?
Yeah, like I just uploaded these, and I think it was like kind of it's like a little random trial. Here's 3 sites that you can use to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to show you a really cool tip that people should be using way more often. But I don't think people know this is a thing.
Yeah,
so YouTube will tell you what the most eye-catching shot is in your video for you for free. When you upload a video to YouTube, and you don't publish it, you just look at like, it's going to recommend 3 thumbnails from that video. Those are the 3 most eye-catching. It's AI has crawled your whole video and chosen 3 thumbnails. So it's giving you 3 great options for like, you can go back and then stick one of those at the beginning of your video, and you're that's going to be a really great decision. No matter what you're doing, if it's like a, even social media content or Amazon ads content. So really powerful tool.
So whether or not you're going to be posting this on YouTube, you can upload your potential sponsor brand video that you're working on, put it in here and say, oh, okay. This
Absolutely.
is what YouTube's AI, which is probably pretty powerful AI, I would assume.
It's pretty powerful. Yep. And you can.
And then what would you do? Would you just try to make more of that, or maybe move that if it wasn't in the beginning? Then you just say, okay, this is something that I'm going to put earlier in the video.
Yeah.
And create similar ones.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we do, is we would like make our version of the video, upload that, and then the final step is actually deciding what that first shot's going to be in the video. So it's just picking whatever, and also like if it gave, in the case of an Amazon Brands video, if it gives you 3 options and one of them is like a really great shot of like involving the product or whatever too, like so you can, that's the type of opening shot you'd want to choose. So you wouldn't want to choose an eye-catching shot that wasn't like for a sponsored brands video that wasn't really clear about the product and what's going on with it. So, but you can, I mean, the cool thing is if you just want to, you could even upload a string out of all your footage to this, and it'll just tell you right off the bat where the what's going to earn the most attention. So pretty cool tool that
that's awesome.
Hopefully YouTube keeps as a feature for a long time.
Yeah, it's smart of them to do that, because obviously it benefits them.
Totally.
Videos that are being played there.
Yeah, because they want people picking the most eye-catching videos. So yeah, they've made it easy. And then they're also giving away this like ridiculously powerful technology for free, because the other options aren't gonna. You have to kind of manually choose what to compare.
But like in your Zyro example.
Exactly. Yeah, but this will just kind of scrub it for you. But sometimes you want to actually, the heat maps have a different value, which it tells you where in the image the attention goes, which can be valuable to know too.
That's true.
So they kind of they both have some value for sure. But that's all I got. So
nice.
Oh, cool. It's 11. Nice. 11 o'clock.
You got it on the dot. Well, thank you so much for I should have done an ending slide here with your contact details, But where can people find you so they can, use your services to create these super compelling ads that don't get rejected by Amazon?
Yeah, videofresh.co is our website, so you can reach out to us there, and yeah, maybe we can share a link or something later. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Great. And LinkedIn, I'm just assuming you're there as well.
LinkedIn, yeah, Rob Wiltsey on LinkedIn.
Cool. Your name's right there. So
which is on the screen. Yep.
All right. Well, we did have one question. So Jaleel earlier asked. I will answer this one question. How would your strategy change when dealing with a premium product, $400 to $500? Would your keyword targeting strategy change, and what should I look out for with selling a high priced item like this? So Jaleel, like that is. Like if you've got a high priced product like that, typically that means you're going to have really, really good margins. So if you're just starting out with this product, for PPC, I would say go all out. You have the opportunity with those high margins to really be super competitive with your bidding strategy. So pick your best keywords, go to the highest bidding that's being suggested, and then go a little bit above that. So that's that. Other than that, launching the product or running PPC, it's all the same. But when you do have really high margins, again, I'm assuming you have high margins because it's such an expensive product, then you actually just have more to play with, more money to play with. And at launch, that can be super important because you're going to get the data that you need to optimize those PPC campaigns down even quicker. So that's the only thing that I would say is a different strategy. So thank you guys for joining. This one session was, I know, super content heavy, but this is very important stuff that you guys need to know for selling on Amazon. And we're going to have this available, later on our YouTube channels and across social media. So take a look out for that. And then, join us at Prosper. Rob's going to be speaking there. We're going to be there as well. And I'll see you next month, same time. And we'll probably do like a Prosper Roundup episode for you guys that maybe weren't able to go. But that's all for today's session, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Rob, for joining.
Thanks, Vince.